Hello and welcome to another update. I don't know about you, but I find it's getting hard to distinguish one day from another and one week from another. However, it's good to see that the trees are finally getting green and the farmers are busy in the fields, at least when it's not raining. And hopefully the relaxed restrictions are going to allow us all a little bit more flexibility and variety in our schedules. I want to tell you about an upcoming board meeting next week on the 26th. We are going to be having a board meeting. And at that, we're going to be considering the guidelines for houses of worship in phase one of reopening, how that impacts our congregation, and the kinds of activities or gatherings that might be helpful for our congregation during this time. So I invite your questions and your suggestions, so don't hesitate to phone or to email me before that time. In our board meeting, we will also be taking time to pray for our congregation, so if you have requests, let us know, and we'd love to be able to uphold you in prayer. This past Thursday evening, I, along with about 1,000 other faith leaders in Alberta, joined a 2-hour phone-in town hall meeting with Premier Jason Kenney and Dr. Dina Hinshaw, and they provided some clarification on the guidelines for places of worship. And they also fielded about 18 questions during that 2-hour time. There are many good questions raised, and I was pleased with both the thoughtful and thorough responses of both Premier Kenney and Dr. Hinshaw. I'll be reviewing my notes of that meeting with the elders, and as we discuss how we can best reopen as a church within those guidelines. Some of you asked about small group gatherings in places other than the church facility. We're going to give that a more comprehensive response following our meeting, but a few initial comments. The information on the Alberta website, Alberta Health website states gatherings of more than 15 people indoors or more than 50 people outdoors is not permitted unless otherwise identified in public health orders or guidance such as workplaces, places of worship, or in restaurants. And gatherings under these limits must follow physical distancing and other guidance. From all I've read, a few things stand out. One is that physical distancing, staying home when feeling ill, and frequent hand washing are the most helpful practices in limiting the spread of infection. And secondly, some of the highest infection risks come from touching common objects and shared food or beverages. So if you are gathering in a small group within the allowed guidelines, you would be wise to ask people to bring their own food and snacks to those gatherings. Now, there's a lot of helpful information on the Alberta Health website, so I direct you to that to help to protect yourself and others. One of the dynamics of our church that I love is that we have a missions heart. We've seen that in the money that we've given to the Global Advance Fund and to other missions initiatives. As well, our church is a home church for international workers Chris and Tara Lynn Ulrichsen. They've been in Mexico City for a number of years, and now they've been on home assignment for almost a year, and it has become more literal and a little longer than they first expected. They are planning to go back as soon as they are able, likely will be September or later than that. But in the meantime, we want to connect with them, and part of that we're going to be entering into a 5-year seamless link agreement with them. So we're going to be officializing that and having them share on June 7th, so we hope you can tune into that on our weekend services that weekend. As far as the church office, we'll continue to have the church office open on Tuesday through Thursday from 1 to 5 p.m. for the remainder of May. And once we've explored the guidelines for phase one reopening, we might be able to provide some further opportunity for small gatherings. So I'll let you know about that in my future updates. Thank you for your patience as we determine how we can do that in the safest possible way. In the Psalms it says, "You'll protect me from trouble." There's been big focus on how we protect ourselves, how we protect others, and Alberta has done a good job in being able to follow the guidance, and we've seen the numbers drop, and we're thankful for that. We need to continue to be wise in following advice from our government leaders and from our health authorities. Yet we know that our protection ultimately comes from the Lord. In the Psalm we read this, "Therefore let all the faithful pray to you while you may be found. Surely the rising of the mighty waters will not reach them. You are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance." Thanks for joining. Talk to you again next week. Bye.